You are listening to the Tricast Gaming Podcast.
Greetings and welcome everyone to episode number 4 of the Tricast Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Philip Keeney, and I am joined today by just the roguishly handsome Mike Martinez.
Good day.
How are you doing this fine evening, Mike?
I'm a little tired. I had a long day at work, but I think I'm gonna make it.
Yeah, I mean it's been rough for me as well. I'm under the crunch. We're working on a bid, and I've got to do mid-year reviews for all of my employees. So it's just been wall to wall this week. So a little bit crazy.
That sounds fun.
Oh, it's so great to sit there and.
How many employees do you have under you that you have to review?
I have 7 direct reports.
Oh.
Yep. So that's been a blast. Back to back meetings today. So super great times. But you'll notice, everyone, again, we are without the wonderful Adam. Today was move-in day, and he did not get internet set up first. I don't know where his priorities are. Clearly they're not in the right place, but he's not with us tonight.
That's like one of my main priorities every time I move is like our internet has to be going to the place we're moving to the day before we move in. Like it has to. That's like a rule for me. Otherwise I'll be very unpleasant to live with.
It's
for the next day.
I mean, I would say it's the golden rule.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I mean, as sacrilegious as that sounds.
No, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I moved into this house that I live in right now back in October of last year, and I had the AT&T service call scheduled for the day we moved in. So I got my keys at like 9:30, got to the house with the loading truck, and at like 10:30, the AT&T service guy was there.
I love it.
Nailed on. So I guess I got something I was going to share with you. I was at Target last night with the kids. We went to the Super Target over near our house because Sarah had ordered some new shoes for Emily, our oldest, and that's where we had to pick them up. So we went in there, and the kids were asking if they could look at the toy aisle, and I was like, you know what? Sure, why not? We haven't been to the store in forever. We all got masks on. I got lots of hand sanitizer for you kids. You know, we haven't been here in a couple of months. You know, let's go for it.
Right.
So we're over there wandering the toy aisle, and I found, I kid you not, Mario Kart Hot Wheel track sets. Okay. These things are like the biggest one was $80. It was like a full-on Mario Kart track setup with like loops and like a track counter, and like it plugs into the wall, so it has the little wheels, you know, that spin, so you can launch the cars, and they start around the track, and they'll get around to the spinner, and it'll shoot them off again, and it's got a lap counter, and you can see who wins. Then they got another one that has like Bowser, and you can link them together, so you could be going through this track and you could be like trying to avoid Bowser from smashing you. And there was another one that had like a spinning chain chomp with a jump, and you had to try to time it so that you jump the jump when the chain chomp was, you know, horizontal, so it didn't knock you out of the air. I was like, what is this? And Sarah had to drag me out of there. I was like about ready to drop like $150 on Mario Kart Hot Wheel tracks.
I'm looking at these. I went to the website. Dude, this thing looks legit, man.
Yeah, I mean it's done by Hot Wheels. You can get like a Mario, a Yoshi. They had a blue Yoshi, a Princess Peach, a Donkey Kong. Man, I'm thinking I'm gonna go back to Target some night and not tell Sarah what I'm doing.
This would make a great addition to your game room, sir.
I agree. Sure. I 100% agree.
Man, oh man, I got something. You're talking about kind of going behind your wife's back and going to Target and get this. I got in a little hot water with my wife this past week because, you know, we play Rocket League, and they have those microtransactions, and
Mm-hmm.
I've found a few things like, wow, I want this. Oh, I want this one too. Oh, I want this. And Laura was going over our finances and like, Mike, what have you been spending money on Steam for? I'm like, oh, what's going on? And I looked at the price. I'm too ashamed to give the final price of it. But I was like, yeah, okay, I'll kind of hold back this month on getting more stuff for Rocket League. Oh my
Wow.
gosh, I didn't really because like it's just so easy. Like, yeah, I want that. It's just a click away, it's yours.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I'll stop for this month. I'm done spending.
So what you're telling me is that it is your turn this week to sit on the shrink couch,
The
the
shrink couch.
Tricast shrink couch. We need to discuss
Oh,
your
yeah.
habitual addiction to video game microtransactions.
Well, see that's just it. Like I've only done it with Rocket League, and I haven't really and I stopped easily, so
Oh yeah,
I don't have a
okay.
problem
Until next month.
until next month. Yeah, then the gates are open.
Until the next set of
But I'll,
wheels come out.
exactly, I spent more money on those black market decals because those are $20 a pop, and I bought like I think three of them.
Oh
I
my
bought
goodness.
Rocket League all over again
My
twice.
goodness. All right, so let me throw a number out here and you tell me if I'm high or low, okay? And
Okay.
I'll do this 3 times and let's see if I can zero in on the
Okay.
cost. All
Okay.
right? 250.
Mm, that's too high.
Okay. Guess number 2, 135.
You nailed it. It was
I
like a
knew.
yes. That was 130
Nice. Wow, that's 130 bucks on Rocket League transactions.
between June and July. So it was like, yeah,
Man, you're the Rocket League white whale.
dude, I can. I love that game, and I want to support him, but I need to ease it back on supporting him just a little bit. They got my share.
Yeah, my
Somebody else has to
biggest
contribute.
my biggest problem with it is that I feel like the things that cost $20 aren't worth $20. Like if
mm,
you were to give me like a brand new car, or something like
mm,
that, or even like
yeah.
here's a little pack, you get a car with a set of wheels, because they used to do those like Hot Wheels packs or
Oh
you
yeah,
know
yeah,
the Jurassic Park
and
pack or whatever, and that was like $5 or $6, and you got like the
yeah.
car, the
You
wheels,
got.
and
There's also a goal explosion with the Ghostbusters car and the Jurassic Park set deal they had. But yeah,
yeah,
now you have to spend $20 on just a decal.
yeah. I don't know about that. That seems a little steep for me. I'm a little disappointed by their turn of price on some of their items. Otherwise, I got no problem with it. I mean, they don't have any effect in game, so
Right.
it's not a big deal. But speaking of maybe looking for a little too much money, did you see the hullabaloo that's been brewing today about Fortnite?
Oh yes. Oh my gosh.
So they
What
tried.
I like read on it like they're bypassing the Apple Store, right?
Yeah,
As
they
far as
tried to
transactions.
implement like their own like virtual bucks in game so they could bypass the Apple Store, because I guess the Apple Store gets a percentage cut of every microtransaction within the game, and so
Right.
basically Epic were like, nah. We're not going to do that anymore. Our game makes too much money. We're
Right.
tired of giving you such a big cut. And I guess they tried to circumvent it, and the Apple banned them or removed Fortnite from the store. But then I also saw just a little bit later, Google did the same. So they're now, you cannot get the Fortnite app on the Google Store or the App Store right now.
Wow. That
So
affects me in no way, so I don't have a dog in this.
I, yeah, I just find it kind of crazy because Fortnite is so huge, but they were the ones that accidentally turned on crossplay between PlayStation and Xbox last
Uh-huh.
year, and sort of really drove home the point that it really is just a switch away, and if PlayStation
Mm,
would just play ball, we could do it. So I don't know.
Right.
Maybe they're pushing the boat out a little bit here, and maybe we might finally get Apple and Google to loosen up some of their stranglehold on this store, and maybe we can get xCloud onto the Apple store eventually. But I'm sure we'll talk
Right.
about that later. So I don't know. I
Mhm.
just thought it was interesting that something as big as Fortnite was now banned or removed from those storefronts.
Right. I mean, there's really no incentive to keep them on their app store because they're not going to make any money off of it, you know. So like, I mean, because
Because it's
it
free to
costs
play.
nothing. Yeah. So there's no really reason to keep it there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what has Apple done other than provide, I guess, provide a marketplace for you to get Fortnite? I mean, they've done nothing to help the development of the game.
Right. Exactly.
But who knows? I think it's a little, it's interesting in my head because if you think about on PCs, right? There's no
Hmm.
there's no stranglehold from Steam on PC as a platform. So there's nothing stopping someone from like Ubisoft or
Hmm.
EA or Epic to launch their own game store. And obviously
Right.
Epic has launched their own game store there. But
Yeah.
Apple and by extension Google have a monopoly on the fact that you have to put your app through the Apple Store or through
Right.
the Google Play Store in order to be on a phone. So
Yeah.
I find that really intriguing. It's a different kind of monopoly on
Hmm.
hardware that these manufacturers have. So it's an interesting fight that's playing out. I'm intrigued to see what ends of it.
Right. Yeah.
But we are a gaming podcast, and we do get together each and every week to channel our virtues through the Triforce to provide you all the latest news and general thoughts from the mythical world of video games. So let's talk video games, Mike. Um,
Hmm.
if you like what you hear, you please consider giving us a like and review on your podcasting app of choice. If you really enjoy it, do please consider sharing on social media and the like to your friends. If you need to find us, look for us at Tricast Gaming P1 on Twitter or Tricast Gaming Podcast on Facebook. If you want to share a question or a thought to the show, please DM us on Twitter or Facebook with those questions. We'd be happy to read them out. Let's get started with what we are playing this week. Mike, I see a lot of Rocket League. I see a lot of Satisfactory again, but I see
Hmm.
some new things here. Tell me about you've been fiddling around with Minecraft again, and is this Apex Legends?
Yeah. The wife and I decided to play Minecraft last night actually, and we have I have a realm, so we just kind of fiddle around on that a little bit. We have a pretty decent base built, and I'm kind of burned out on the base building part of it. So I like hopped on creative mode and made like a little dungeon for people to run through to get like I spawned in some like diamond blocks and just some other good cool stuff people will probably want or need. And so I spent like 3 hours designing this little small dungeon, more like a gauntlet with monsters you have to run through and kill. That was fun. And then I also played a little bit of Apex Legends with some of my friends on PC. I still suck with keyboard and mouse. I don't think I'll ever be good with that.
I thought
It's hard.
I thought that was supposed to be like the cheat code win mode.
It is. I still trying to dial in like my sensitivities. Like when I go to turn, like imagine on the controller and your like sensitivity is dialed up to like 5,000. You know, because it's just you have to dial in those right settings for your mouse so that way you can actually have a nice fluid move around the screen and click and point and shoot. Otherwise, I'm just like all over the place.
Yeah, my biggest problem whenever I play mouse and keyboard is that it's just not a position I guess I'm typically comfortable with holding my hands in for the
Right.
duration of time that I would playing a video game, and so my wrist starts to hurt, particularly with the keyboard.
Yeah.
I actually
Right.
remember going to a show, I think it was I believe it was QuakeCon in 2018 I was
Hmm.
at, and I was playing a demo on the show floor there, and we actually had a stand at a mouse and keyboard. It was Rage 2. I was playing Rage 2 with mouse and keyboard, and it was only like a 15-minute demo, and my wrist hurt for the entire rest of the day after playing that. So I'm not fit for it. Not fit for it. But what about Apex Legends? I played it a little bit at launch. How's the game look now? I haven't touched it since.
They added a lot of new weapons. They've kind of fixed some of the broken things about other weapons that were overpowered at launch. They added like a PVE little mission thing, I believe. I haven't played it yet. They had another game type where the circle's like constantly closing. It's just a little slower, and I guess the smaller this gets, the like out of bounds portion of it like starts hurting worse and worse. And you know where the final circle is going to be, so you can kind of like know where you need to go as the game progresses. Um, they've also added a little bit of lore to the characters, which is pretty cool. You can kind of find all that out through the PVE story missions. You can only do like once. It's like they release one mission per season, I believe, is what it is. I could be completely wrong on that, but from what I remember, people telling me that's what it is.
So that's very similar to Overwatch, if I remember correctly. But are those missions
Yeah,
held in perpetuity, or do you like miss out on them if you didn't play them during that season?
you'll miss out on them if you don't, because they'll like take them out and add the new one in.
That doesn't make any sense. Like you make this content for a game, and it's only available for a few months, and then you just pull it back. I don't really understand.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been able to go back and play the old ones, so
Yeah, exactly. Then like new people come into your game, they can't go experience this other content.
right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Overwatch did the same thing. It's just such a weird.
Mm-hmm.
It actually reminds me of I was reading as I was preparing for the show. I was reading about how Forza Horizon 3 is getting delisted from the game store. I mean, Forza
Oh,
Horizon
really?
3 is only like a few years old. I don't why would you take it off the game store so nobody can buy it? That's just so weird.
Why would they do that?
I there was no reasoning. I couldn't find a reasoning, and I didn't even add it to news for the show because it just made I was like I don't know what to even say about
Are you
this.
talking about the Xbox Game Store?
Yeah, yeah,
What the heck?
yeah. So
That's
I don't
so
know.
odd.
I'm gonna have to read into it a little bit more, but yeah, strange decisions. You know, you make content. I mean, I understand like if you have to pull stuff for licensing agreements related to music or something, but I mean, a whole game, I just don't get it. So I guess let this be your note, audience. If you want Forza Horizon, go buy it now because it will be delisted from the game store soon.
That's so weird.
Yep. All right. For me, I've been playing more FUT 20, playing through some objectives. I actually really like. I wanted to touch on this. What
Mm-hmm.
they've added in Ultimate Team, FIFA Ultimate Team, which is what FUT stands for, FUT.
Mm-hmm.
They added it. I think for this game. I think it was this game. But there are objectives every week that you can do. Well, they have daily objectives, and then they have weekly objectives, and then they have each season has seasonal objectives, and they reset the season every couple months, I think. And when you do the objectives, you earn experience points and you gain levels, and then each level that you gain, they give you something. So like a player pack of cards,
Mm-hmm.
or a special celebration or a stadium item. But then they have at tier 15 and tier 30, which is the max level for each season, they have a special player card. And they've gotten progressively better, but they were always pretty good cards for you to get. Sometimes they're like the ones to watch cards, which can actually get better throughout the season, throughout the life of the game and stuff. So they're always something cool to work towards. And I think that's a really neat add for this FIFA season, and it gives me something. You know, as I kind of start getting burned out of just playing games over and over again, I can focus on these objectives. And the ones that I've been
Mm-hmm.
trying to do this week are related to having three players from three different leagues. So I have to have three players from the Premier League, three players from League One, which is the French top league, and three players from La Liga, which is Spain's top league. and I have to fit them in my team, and then I have to win a minimum of 10 games against the AI on professional, at least professional difficulty, which um, it's
Oh
not.
wow.
It's. I mean, I've done it. I haven't lost a game yet. I typically play on professional anyway, but you at this point in the game, you're running into some relatively decent AI squads, and so a couple of the games have been kind of hairy, but it's fun. It gives me something to work towards. That's not just play the game, play the computer again, play the computer
Right.
again with my same squad. So
Hmm.
I wanted to touch on that because I think it's a pretty neat ad. I
That's
really
pretty cool.
enjoyed it. But the other thing, I'm still working on Concrete Genie. It had
Hmm.
a really fun, unique twist. Like halfway through the game, I thought I was almost done because I knew I was in the last section of the world, but halfway through the game, it stops becoming about removing the darkness from these
Hmm.
areas and actually turns into a game where you're kind of fighting an enemy, and you fight these enemies and eventually you wear them down, and then you can it's like basically like almost a ghostbuster mechanic where you reel them in and you calm them down and you turn them nice again. And I was really surprised with how the game sort of shifted and it brought in new mechanics. There's like a really cool like light surfing mechanic that you like spray. You're like spraying your paintbrush on the ground and you can like surf on that light and chase enemies around the map, and you go back through the same environments that you went through before. But it's really cool how they added like a bunch of different uh, mechanics and things like that to the game. So turned it into
Yeah.
almost like you're kind of like doing like shooter mechanics, third person shooter
Hmm.
mechanics and stuff, which you hadn't done for the whole first half of the game. So really intriguing. I actually like this game more and more as I've played it. I don't know why it kind of critically fell a little flat when it launched,
Hmm.
but so far really enjoying that. Not finished it yet, but
Cool.
still working
And
away.
it's a PlayStation game, right?
Yeah, it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive game.
Okay.
Yeah, so sorry, Mike. I don't think that I mean, you could play it currently. It might come to PC one day, but currently,
I
you
think
know,
like I honestly believe I'm gonna get a PlayStation and pass on the Xbox because like I can pretty much play Xbox on my computer. Like I really don't need an Xbox, so I may be getting the PlayStation first. I eventually want both consoles, but I think I'm gonna just get the PlayStation first.
it'd be super cool. I think I've been trying to get all of you to convert to PlayStation all
Yeah, I know.
generation, but all
Yep.
right. And then finally, I've touched on Fall Guys a little bit. I played, I think 4 or 5 rounds the other night. I got as far as the final round
Uh-huh.
one time, but I did not win. I haven't gone back to it yet, but I had fun with it. It's not. I
It's
hear.
it's more like a party game, right? Like where you just have a bunch of friends and
I think.
like it's not too serious.
I think it would be a lot better playing with friends. To be
Oh yeah.
honest, I mean, it is a cute little fun game that's doesn't take itself too seriously, but in some ways I find the mechanics don't work as well as I'd like them to in some aspects.
Hmm.
But I don't know, I think that's supposed to be part of a little bit of the charm of the game. But
Yeah.
it's fun. It's not better than Rocket League to me, and I hear too many people saying the next Rocket League, the next game to try to compete with Rocket League. I'm like, man,
No, it's not.
no.
It looks like it's more of a like a friendly competitor compared to like Fortnite because it's like a you're trying to be the last to survive, right? Like you want to make it to the end and win.
Yeah, but so it's different little mini games. Like there's one where if you do you remember the show Takeshi's Castle?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like one where there's a set of doors, but only so many of the doors are real doors. So like everybody runs at a door and like bounces off of it because it's not a real door, and you got to go to the next one. And so the top
Right.
40 characters or whatever of the 60 that make it through the doors go to the next round, and then the next round it could be there's one where you go through these like topsy turvy seesaw things,
Hmm.
and they knock off another 10, and there's one where it splits you up into teams and you got to get the eggs into your basket and you can go steal the eggs from other teams. And there's one where you like have a soccer ball and you try to push the soccer ball over. Some of them are obstacle courses, so there are some that are like team based and then some that are individual based.
Right.
But surviving is more like, get to the end of the obstacle course as one of the top 20 players or something like that.
That yeah. The reason I want everybody to play our group of friends anyways because I hate 4v4 in Rocket League. So if there's 4 of us, I think I'd rather play Fall Guys than play Rocket League. But I got to get
Yeah.
everybody else to buy in on this game.
Yeah, I could see that. Although I know that you probably bought it on PC. I don't know if there's crossplay. Do you know?
We all have PCs. Connor has a computer.
Yes, but I don't have to pay for the game right now because it was free
Oh,
on
because you got it
PlayStation
on
Plus.
PlayStation. Oh,
Yeah.
it's only $20, man.
Okay, you can fund that for me.
You may get a gift from Steam for me.
I don't know. It sounds like you have a microtransaction problem, so maybe you should be careful there.
That's very true. That's
All
very
right.
true.
Okay. Well, I'm going to move on out of what we're playing and into the newsreel, the new and revised newsreel. I think it went really well last week, so we're going to keep on with that
Right on.
show format. So, number 1, Halo Infinite has been delayed into 2021. No longer an Xbox Series launch game, but Microsoft has confirmed that the Xbox Series X will still launch this year and are even now narrowing it to November of 2020. So before this past week, it was holiday 2020. Now they are saying November 2020.
November.
I think we will talk much more about Halo Infinite's delay a little later in the show, so I will move on from that for now. Number 2, Rocksteady has confirmed a Suicide Squad game is currently in development at the studio. More info will be revealed on August 22 at the DC Fandome. Rocksteady's last game was 2015's Batman Arkham Knight. So look for a full...
I am very excited about this game.
Yes,
Very
I am too. So yeah, look for a full game reveal on August 22nd at the DC Fandome. I'm sure that we will talk at length after that. I think both of us really enjoyed Batman's Arkham Knight, and this should be a good one. All right, number 3, it appears that AT&T has made a U-turn and decided not to sell Warner Bros. Gaming division, with CEO Jason Kilar telling staff in an email that it, quote, remains part of the studios and networks groups, and added that while the changes may prove, quote, a lot to take in, he's confident the company will, quote, successfully navigate them. So Warner Bros. Game owns Rocksteady. There had been a lot of talk recently that a Warner Bros. Game was up for sale, including Rocksteady Studios and others, with Microsoft, EA, and I think it was Take-Two being the ones sniffing around. But it seems that AT&T have decided to hold on to Warner Bros. Gaming for now.
Interesting.
Yes, quite. All right, number 4, a listing at UK retailer Game. Game is a store there similar to GameStop. Appears to leak the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster with a September 29 release date. So interestingly, a user posted on Reddit, I think it was, that they went into Game and were able to actually pre-order and pay for in full the Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster, and that the store had a listing for September 29th as the release date, which is a Tuesday. So the rumor mill continues to swirl around this one.
Huh.
Yep. I have to say I will be all in if they put this out this year. Man, I don't know. If it's really September 29th, then October 2nd is supposed to be the new Star Wars Squadrons game, and October 9th is supposed to be FIFA 21. Those are all EA games. So a little bit strange there if this date is true.
Right.
Okay, number 5, developer Codemasters has announced that Dirt 5 has been delayed, but just by a week. It will now launch on October 16th. They are also saying that if you pre-order the game, you'll have access 3 days early on October 13th. So I am not really sure why you needed a week delay, but there you have it. Number 6, developer Hardwit Labs has announced that Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 has been delayed out of holiday 2020 and will now be an undetermined 2021 release. This game was announced at the PlayStation Showcase back in June, I believe it was.
Hmm.
All right, number 7. We get to talk about FIFA again. Sorry, I love FIFA. EA Sports has announced new features for FIFA Ultimate Team 21. They've introduced a litany of items. I'm going to run through them here real quick. Co-op play will be a new feature for Rivals and Squad Battles. Rivals is the PvP, and Squad Battles is the PvE modes of the two. So now you'll be able to join with a friend and play other, either duos and Rivals or against the AI in Squad Battles.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing they announced was that cards will now, so they've done special cards for players performing better in real life, but now they're also going to focus the updates of the cards on moments on the field. So if a player scores a spectacular free kick, then their free kick attribute will be boosted on that card in game. So that's pretty neat.
That's pretty cool. Like, yeah, how it kind of updates real time depending on how they played the previous week.
Yeah, so I'm
pretty cool.
Excited to see how that comes along with the new season. I thought that was, like you say,
I wonder if that's going to kind of like change how like Madden. Do they still make Madden games?
They do. Yeah, the new one's supposed to be out soon. I don't know. I don't play Madden every year. Actually, I don't think I've ever played a Madden. I'm not a big NFL fan.
Right.
But
I wonder like if they're going to add something like that, similar to like how well the player's doing throughout the season. If they'll adjust their stats, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think they have an Ultimate Team. I wonder if they already have something like that in play. So item C here, full customizable stadium. Now, this is the next thing that I was really excited for. So currently you can pick real life stadiums as your FUT team stadium. They will continue to offer that in FUT 21, but now they are also bringing in a new stadium, which is sort of custom built for your team. I guess there's going to be a few different options that you pick from. And then as you complete objectives and through the seasons along FUT 21, your stadium will actually grow in size in game until it becomes a massive cauldron-like stadium as big as like the Bernabeu or the Nou Camp. Along with that, you'll be able to customize different colors through the stands, different signages in the stands, adding tifos, which are like big graphics on nets in front of the stands. You'll be able to change the colors of the nets and the lines on the pitch and things like that. So really customize your home stadium that your FUT team plays in. I think this is really neat. My only concern is that they'll tie this bullshit to Rivals. I can't stand playing Rivals. If they tie these to Rivals, I'll be really disappointed. So we'll see what happens there.
That's going to be a good way to like flex on like your opponents in PvP, like because I guess if you're playing the home game, it kind of flashes your stadium as the game's loading.
Oh yeah, I mean you'll be playing in your stadium if you're the home team. Yep.
Yeah, it's a good way to flex
for sure. D, community and team events. It's pretty neat. So now there will be community objective and team objective events, and you can perform the objectives and earn XP as a community, either to a community event or in these team modes where you have to pick a team. So something similar to like Splatoon's Team Ketchup versus Team Mustard events. So should be really neat. A little added thing to work towards every week. E, division rival placements through squad battles. So now instead of you having to play 5 matches to figure out where you rank, they're adding in a new way for you to do it against the AI to sort of ease people that like me that don't like to play against human players into division rivals. I'd be interested to see how that works out. They're adding a rivals match cap. So basically currently you can play as many division rivals games as you want, and it adds to your total, which allows people that can spend hours and hours and hours on the game every day to artificially rise in the weekly rankings. They are going to squash that for next year. They're putting a 30 match cap on it. You can continue to play rivals matches, but only your first 30 will count towards your weekly ranking. Item G, they're removing fitness and training items, which is neat. I don't like having to do fitness items. And finally, if you're interested, the Icon Foot 100, so the 100 icons that you can get in the game, has been released. You can go look that up. So the icons are past players that you can get in the Ultimate Team mode and play those past players with current players. So it's pretty neat little item there. Okay,
Cool.
got my FIFA out of the way. We'll move on to item number 8. The Last of Us 2 post-launch free DLC has come has launched. You can download that update. It's free. It's added a grounded and a permadeath mode. Grounded takes away the HUD, makes enemy AI smarter, and then you can also couple that with a permadeath mode, so you can really make it quite challenging.
Wow. Yeah.
They've also added, I call them cheat codes. That's not what they called them, but I'm calling them cheat codes. But basically, you can go into the menu and turn on things like infinite ammo, infinite crafting items, or even a mirror mode, which flips the game's level on a mirror axis. Apparently, you can even tie that to every time you die, it flips the game back and forth. So that's kind of interesting.
Oh, interesting.
And finally, they added new visual rendering modes like cell shading and pixel graphics. All right, item number 9. Ubisoft has announced a new operator for Rainbow Six Siege. It's Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell. Their full reveal is set for August 16th. So now Sam Fisher is in another Ubisoft game, but still does not have his own sequel. When will Ubisoft learn? We want a new Splinter Cell game. Number 10, id Software has announced at QuakeCon the first single-player expansion for Doom Eternal, titled The Ancient Gods Part 1. It is due to release later this year, and it will have a full reveal on August 27 at Gamescom.
Nice.
This will be good. I played Doom Eternal. Love that game. It's a really fun game. I like that they're going to do some single-player expansions for it. Number 11, the next-gen Xbox controller has leaked into the wild, with some people able to get their hands physically on the controller. I don't really know how this happens. Somehow there was a online retailer site that was selling the controller, and people got the new controller that's supposed to launch with the Xbox Series X. Although this was a white version of the controller, they were able to even pair it to their Xbox One console and everything. Very interesting. But
interesting.
There are some details on the packaging of these controllers that are more intriguing. On the side of the box, it tells you what consoles it works with, and it labels Xbox Series X/S. So is this confirming that there will be an Xbox Series S? This has long been rumored. This is the Lockhart that we've talked about on past shows. I think it's a given. I believe it'll be announced sometime this month, maybe early next month. We'll know for sure what that little thing looks like. And then the second item that is very interesting about the packaging is that the warranty information states that the warranty starts on November 6, 2020 and ends on November 5, 2021. So that's a 12-month warranty beginning November 6, 2020. Is that the console release date? So very interesting little tidbits there on this controller that has somehow leaked into the wild. I don't even understand how this happens.
I'm gonna go quote unquote leaked. Like I feel like this was done purposefully to like get that information out there to maybe hopefully push Sony to announce their stuff.
That would be a pretty interesting retailer espionage type event going on there. Yes, we would like the console release dates and prices, please, Sony and Microsoft. All right, number 12, Mojang has announced the next Minecraft Dungeons DLC. Actually, they had announced the DLC already, but they've announced the launch date for it. Creeping Winter is the next DLC, and it will launch September 8th.
Cool.
Number 13, the Xbox Summer Sale is now live with over 400 plus games discounted. Go check that out. I think my deep pull for this one, I saw that Sunset Overdrive is $5. If you have
Oh,
not played Insomniac's Sunset Overdrive, $5 is basically free. Go get it.
pretty
Go
much.
try it out. It is a fantastic game. Hidden gem, console exclusive. More people should play it.
I
All
think I
right.
got that with didn't it come with the Xbox Gold free games
Yeah, it
a while
might
back
have.
ago?
It might have. I think you're right. I think it was an Xbox Gold game. So again,
Yeah,
if you haven't tried it, even if you got it on Gold, go download it and play it.
it's great fun.
All right. And finally, item number 14, Netflix has announced a new documentary series titled High Score. It will focus on the golden age of video games, covering the brains behind the success, the games, and how the industry has evolved over the years. It will be available starting August 19th on Netflix.
We'll definitely
So,
check that out.
looks very interesting. All right. That is the news reel for our show, August 13th. We will now move into the topics of the show. The first topic is yours, Mike. I give you the show.
Cool. So Microsoft has this streaming platform Xcloud, which I have read into a lot more since we started this podcast, and because I'll be able to access it with my Ultimate Pass, and so I was able to. I read more into it, and I saw that like it's fantastic. Cause I've wanted to get back into like mobile gaming, like on your phone and stuff like that, and especially whenever like, I was more intrigued in those kind of games whenever the analog was came out, and I looked into that, and it's pretty cool. You get it with your Ultimate Game Pass, $15 a month. You can't get it on iPhone, which was unfortunate for you because that's what you have, right?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. iOS store policies apparently prevent this Game Pass service from being on its App Store. I think there's a little bit of a tit for tat going on here. We talked about it a little
Yeah,
bit last week. We'll see how this plays out.
right. But still, like if for some reason you have company over and somebody's sleeping in my office where I play my games, just break out my tablet, play Destiny or Sea of Thieves on it or on my phone. Like I don't know, it's like it's so cool. The only thing like I'm kind of worried about is the latency issues there might be on it. They haven't. I do have a lot of bandwidth on my internet here, but as far as like, I want to know how quickly stuff reacts when I input the information on my controller. That is going to be the only thing. It's going to kind of really affect the kind of games I play. So if like I know if it's like a high latency, I won't play Sea of Thieves. I'll find some other games to play, but I just find it very exciting that I'm gonna have access to this because like I was interested in Stadia, but there's just not a huge player base on there, as from what I am understanding. Um, but this will have you'll have Xbox Game Pass essentially, so you'll get to be able to chat through your phone. Um, if you can like when you party up, like you just use your mic on your phone. Um, the requirements is you need a Android device that has Android 6 Marshmallow or better and has a Bluetooth version 4 or better for the controller. Um, and you just the way you buy like you have your Game Pass subscription, so you don't have to really buy games since you have the Ultimate.
My question though is, do you get the whole Game Pass lineup? I don't think it's the whole Game Pass
No,
lineup.
they have announced right now there's 30 games
Okay.
that you can play. And again, it looks like a lot of these are FPSs. Well,
I don't.
F1, Forza. There's a few racing games on there, but
Cool.
again, it just for me, it really is going to depend on how quick the input is taken from the cloud
I'm
from your
intrigued
controller.
to know, like, if you just do mobile data streaming, like how quickly it'll eat up your mobile data.
Oh, that is scary to think about. I would only play on Wi-Fi, um, and I have Wi-Fi at work, so like on my break or my lunch breaks, I can pull out my phone. I guess I
Yeah.
can't take my controller, so I have to find some games where I can just because I think a lot of the games you're going to have a controller. There will be a few games where you can use the touch screen, but a lot of the games you'll need a controller.
Yeah, I saw them do like a little piece on how they develop touchscreen controls for Hellblade. I thought that
Hmm.
was intriguing.
Oh, interesting.
Apparently, it works really well, although I feel like will have to be my own personal judge for that because I don't think touchscreen controls. And I don't trust a bunch of these people on Twitter that got early access or whatever that are like, "Oh, trust me, I don't like touch controls either, but this is fantastic." Yeah, I'm not gonna trust you.
You got to do it on your. Yeah, you have to experience it for yourself for sure. And the Razer Kishi is one of the controller developers specifically for mobile gaming. So there's a version for the Xcloud.
Yeah, I have to say I'm really really disappointed with this whole Apple Store business, the iOS store. When they
Hmm.
announced that they were going to be doing XCloud to Game Pass, I was so excited. Dude, I went immediately on Amazon and ordered one of those things that you clip onto your controller and it holds your
Right.
phone up above
Hmm.
it. I like ordered one immediately, have it here, and then a few weeks later, we're not supporting on Apple phones right now. So
That is unfortunate.
and then they say that it's Apple's store policy, but I find it really sketchy that they
No.
announce they announce XCloud, then a couple weeks later tell you, oh, it's only for Android, and then within like less than a few days after that, announce the Surface Duo. Did you see the Surface Duo that
No.
dude, this thing is like it's bigger. I have the iPhone 8 Plus. It's slightly
Uh-huh.
bigger than the iPhone 8 Plus, and it folds out and is two phones basically.
Oh, yes, I do. I didn't know that's what that was called, but yeah.
Yeah, Surface
Wow.
just so they announced this, and if you order it by some date, you get like 3 months of Game Pass with it. But this thing is
Nice.
going to cost like $1,400.
Oh
Like,
shit, buy two, man.
yeah, no problem.
God,
Let me just
that is
hop on that.
insane. You're just paying like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I guess the technology of the screen bending like that is what you're paying for, but I don't think it's worth it right now. Like, just
Well,
wait
no,
till
it's two separate
it's not.
screens. So they're
Oh,
two
is it?
separate screens. They're not bending in there
Oh,
in the middle of it. Yeah. But
okay.
I don't know. I guess they have separate processors on each side. It's basically two phones in one, is what it is. Uh,
They made two phones and put a hinge on the sides of them.
yeah, essentially. I guess we'll see. Maybe this is the future. Maybe this is where we're going.
I think I think this is the future, man. I really do.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I have to say though, I was disappointed by this. I know I said it already, but I was just disappointed
Mm.
by the fact that I can't play on an Apple phone. And you know what? You know what the worst part is I legitimately started looking at the AT&T store to go back to an
Mhm.
Android, and I was like, no, no, Philip, you're not doing this. You're not getting a new phone. No, you're not falling into this trap.
When are
Get
you
your
doing when are you due for an upgrade?
I could already upgrade, but honestly, I'm
Oh,
so happy with my 8 Plus still that I just like, well, I'm not gonna
wow.
upgrade for now. I'll
Do you
save
not have
the.
a tablet, an Android tablet?
I do have an Android tablet. It's a pretty
There you
simple Walmart brand one that I got
go.
last
Oh,
Black Friday for like $50. So I don't know how well it will do, but I don't know. I travel a lot for work, and I spend a lot of, or I did travel a lot for
mhm.
work until coronavirus happened. I spent a lot of time in hotel rooms, and this seemed really intriguing to me. So we'll see how it develops. I don't know. Maybe they can figure out the Apple stuff. I feel like they're in a little bit of a standoff. I would like to think that these two companies can come to some kind of agreement eventually. I find
Right.
it, you know,
I don't see it happening because like there's no way for Apple to make money off this because like there's no microtransaction through the Apple Store. So like Apple like there what is their incentive to have this on their store?
well,
You know?
so my problem with this and what I've seen Microsoft try to um, put forth in their argument against how the policy doesn't apply to them, but what they're basically
Mhm.
saying is Microsoft has already gone separately to the developers, or in the case of first party games, they're their own games. They already own them
Mhm.
and have licensing agreements for all the games that are in the app. So it's already been paid for separately by Microsoft. and then Microsoft are launching their app and putting it on the
Right.
store for people to download for free. Now, obviously, people have to pay for an ultimate subscription, and I think that's
Mhm.
where Apple are trying to snag them. Well, oh, but you the people can download this app for free, but if they actually want to play the games in it, they need a sub to your service, and we can't get any profit off that. Except, the
Right.
problem is that that service is not just a phone service. It's across multiple platforms. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Google Play Store is allowing it to exist. They blocked the Fortnite app for trying to get around microtransactions within their game, but they
Right.
are allowing the Game Pass app. So I don't know. We'll
I
see how
wonder.
this.
I wonder why. I wonder if the reason why they blocked Fortnite on their app is because Epic probably just didn't let them know this is what their plan was. They just kind of did it like behind, like on the sly. They didn't say anything to Android or the Apple Store.
Yeah, maybe.
I wonder if they just like, I mean, if they didn't talk to them about it. I think that's the issue, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see how this all plays out. I would like to think that within the month they can
Hmm.
come to some kind of agreement, but we'll see how that develops um,
Right.
with this whole thing.
Yeah, that's all I pretty much had on it. I'm just excited to give it a try.
All right. I guess one last point I think I'll make on this is my understanding is that sometime in March of next year they're going to upgrade all of those XCloud servers to Series X based servers. So you
Oh,
should start to see next
nice.
year some high quality 4K gaming and stuff.
Sweet.
All right. Okay. So my show topic is going to be the Halo Infinite delay, and I don't really have a article to read from here or anything. I did link an article in the show notes for you to look through if you wanted to. It's from Ryan McCaffrey over at IGN, who's a very well respected journalist over there. It's been in the game industry for a long time. But
Hmm.
really, I don't have anything in particular that I want to pull out of the article. I just kind of want to talk about the delay in general because I think that there's a lot of interesting aspects to this. You see a lot of screeching, and I've been one to do it. Like, what's the point of buying a Series X now? There's no first party launch exclusive with it. But, on the flip side, on this show, we talked about how they want it to be a platform, that it'd be the only Halo game they make for the next 10 years, and how because they're making that stance, they have
Hmm.
to get it right at launch. So if they
Oh
don't
yeah.
feel like they can get it right at launch this fall, then you'd have to think that they have no other choice but to delay it. So I think
Hmm.
there's a lot of interesting back and forth conversation, and I just wanted us to touch on it a little bit here. Mike, what's your initial reaction to this? What was your initial reaction to this announcement earlier this week?
I wasn't actually really surprised by it all, especially like I already told you in our messages. But after the feedback they got after the Xbox showcase, and then just all that, like with the graphics and all that, like I was not surprised. And then if you couple that with all the COVID stuff going on, and it was not surprising to me. Like anytime I hear about a delay this year, I'm like, yep, that sounds about right. So I'm not really surprised by it. I mean, it does suck that it's not going to be launching with the new console coming out, but I think it's the right move for sure. It just sucks, but I mean, if they need to work on it to make it better, to address the concerns the gamers had, then I think they need to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think from the game's perspective, you know, uh, things like The Last of Us Part 2, that got delayed from Sony.
Hmm.
It got delayed a couple times, actually. Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed a couple
Three
times.
times.
Yeah. So delays of big games is not uncommon.
Yeah.
Um, This game has been in development for 5 years. They've been teasing it for two. They were
Hmm.
saying that it was going to be their big launch exclusive. I mean, they would have known that this was coming for a while.
Right.
I don't know. I have a little bit of trouble with it because we're when was the Xbox show? It was in July, right? It was
July.
not.
Yep.
I mean, because
Like
we're
late
on.
July.
Yeah, because we're on episode 4. We're a weekly show, and
Hmm.
it happened the night of our first episode. So
Yeah.
it was 4 weeks ago exactly,
Yep.
and they've already delayed the game. So I don't know. I feel like I'm a little torn by this because I just think that maybe they try to shoe this on to the Series X launch, and maybe they never really should have tied it to that. That would have given them a little bit more flexibility
Hmm.
in the long run with the development of the game. But let's go back to the side of, where does that leave Xbox Series X? They've doubled down that they're going to launch it this fall. So now there's
Right.
no console launch exclusive title for the game or for the console.
Mm.
The only thing that they're going to have are these upres items and things like that. So you know optimized versions of Gears 5 and Forza 4. They're going to bring Gears
Right.
Tactics over from PC. Do you think that's enough to launch a console? I mean, they seem to think, they keep touting this, biggest launch lineup ever. But I
Right.
think that's misleading. I think that it's fair to claim the work that you've done and your backwards compatibility stuff, and it's fair to
Hmm.
say that we're giving you free updates, free resolution updates to these games. But to me, the launch lineup now is purely from second and third party developers, and I think that I think that's a miss. I really do.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. I think the if they're really depending on their high res upgrades for these games that they have, I think it needs to be pretty substantial and something that will make people actually like talk it up whenever after they buy it and they're like, oh my gosh, you should see what this game looks like now. And I honestly don't think it's going to be that big to really upsell it. I think it is unfortunate that Halo is not going to be coming out with it, but and it sucks. I understand, but it just sucks.
Yeah, it makes you ask the question: is the console coming too soon? Is it a year too soon?
Hmm. Right.
And I think that's a fair question. And I think people should be asking it the same of Sony. I mean, right now, the spotlight really is back on them. And so far, really all we have is, the Spider Man Miles Morales game, which is essentially a large expansion to the 2018 Marvel Spider Man
Hmm.
game. Um,
Yeah.
so it really does lead to the question of, are these consoles a year too early, especially now with all the coronavirus stuff. But
Yeah.
uh,
I mean, I don't. I like, if they delay, like if they held back the or pushed back the Xbox the console release, like I wouldn't be surprised. They're not going to, but I think it'd be the right move just to have it launch with Halo, the first party game. And I don't see why they have to. Why, like, what is the purpose of launching around the same time as PlayStation? Like, what is? Because, like, I mean, we both know that Phil Spencer's like they're not trying to compete or try to sell consoles anymore. They're trying to sell Game Pass and all that, all their services. Like, why? But why are we still trying to release around the same window as PlayStation? If that's the direction you're going, why are we still trying to have this same release window? Like, just push back the release of the Xbox Series X, release it with Halo, and then that'll be that.
yeah, I mean, it is very confusing, honestly, at this
Yeah.
point. To just be perfectly honest, I mean, I they don't seem to want to directly compete console to console, but at the same time, you're releasing a console. There is no other competitor to PlayStation
Right.
5. Nintendo Switch is not a competitor to PlayStation 5. The
No.
only competitor is a PC and the Xbox Series X.
Right.
So I don't know how you have corporate leadership at Microsoft that are like, yeah, you know what? If you just sell 1 million of those things, who cares? I I I,
Right.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't understand how
Hmm.
you've put probably hundreds of millions of dollars in research and development of a brand new
Hmm.
piece of hardware that you're going to launch.
Right.
And I mean, the messaging, it seems to suggest that they don't care if people buy it as long as they're in Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know we've talked about the value for gamers and also the money generation prospects for Microsoft of
Right.
Game Pass Ultimate, but if really all you care about is Game Pass Ultimate, why are you putting a console together in the first place?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you are Microsoft. The
Yeah.
Windows PC is a thing.
Yeah.
Just say, look, we're out of the console business. Game Pass
Buy
is
this
available
tower.
everywhere.
It'll work on it. Yep.
Yeah. Download Game Pass on PlayStation 5, download Game Pass on Nintendo Switch, download Game Pass on Apple phones, on Android phones, on your Windows PC, on your MacBook, and play games everywhere.
I think the reason they are still making consoles, and they'll continue making consoles, it's because it's a cheaper version of a beefed up PC. So they still want people to have access to these games. And like, if let's say um, there's somebody out there that wants to play Game Pass Ultimate, and they have a computer that can't run these games, so like, okay, well, there's a cheaper console I can buy, even though it's not cheap. It's still somewhat cheaper than actually building a computer. So I think that's going to be the only reason why Microsoft is going to continue making consoles, is because it's still cheaper than building a computer. And if somebody buys a console, that's another prospect to get Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I will say this. I see a lot of people continue to make the same claim that it's all about the games. It's all about the games. That's why people buy PlayStation.
Hmm.
But I want to make the point that in 2020, Xbox first party games that have released, so games from Xbox first party studios, not all of these are
Hmm.
console exclusive, but they are from Microsoft Studios. In 2020, you have Ori and the Will of the Wisps, you have Bleeding Edge, you have Gears Tactics, Minecraft Dungeons, Battletoads, Flight Simulator, Wasteland 3, and monthly new content updates for Sea of Thieves. Uh, I
Yep.
mean, that's what, 8 games there
Hmm.
in
Yep.
2020 alone. If it's just about the games to gamers, then people should be buying into Xbox, especially
Right.
because all those games are available for $10 a month in Xbox Game Pass. You don't have to get Ultimate. You can just get
Right.
Game Pass for $10 a month. All of those games are available along with 100 plus other games from other developers.
Yep.
So I I think that to say that it's all about the games is a bit of a misnomer. I think it's about the quality of the individual experience. And
Hmm.
that is, in my opinion, where Microsoft is failing. And if this move to push Halo into 2021 gives us that exceptional quality experience when it comes, I think
Hmm.
things can be forgiven. But if
Yeah.
Microsoft have learned any lesson from 2013, it should be the realization that this console generation may be long tail, but if you get out the gates poorly and more people are getting onto PlayStation than ever before,
Right.
even now, you could lose this thing before Halo Infinite ever launches.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see how it all develops. But you know,
Hmm.
I don't know. McCaffrey does speculate in his article that you could, and I started seeing more other rumors. In fact, I was reading Jeff Grubb from VentureBeat was saying the same thing. Be prepared for an Xbox Series X that is more powerful than a PlayStation 5 and is cheaper at launch. If that happens, that'll be the saving grace. If you can go and buy an Xbox Series X for less, or even let's say the same money, but it comes with like a 6-month Game Pass voucher in it, and
Oh
that
wow.
console plays all of these games better,
Yeah.
that's really
That would.
the only saving grace to me. That's the only way
Yeah.
that you can try to win big here.
Yeah.
I don't know. Spencer has also teased that there's another big announcement for Game Pass coming up. Jeff
Mm.
Grubb talked about this as well. He said it's not a game. It's not like Cyberpunk 2077 is launching in the Game Pass or
Hmm.
something like that, but there is some other big announcement. The rumor that I've read is that potentially it's a developer. It'd be interesting to see if maybe Microsoft has cut a deal to bring like EA access in as part of Game Pass Ultimate. That would
Oh,
be intriguing as well. So I don't
oh
know.
yeah.
We'll see how this develops. Right now, I'm a little downtrodden. I've been an Xbox guy through and through since November 2011 with the
Hmm.
launch of Halo Combat Evolved and the first Xbox. But I'm at my lowest point with them. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right. Our final topic was Adam's suggestion for the show. Again, I don't have a tremendous amount to speak on this, but there have been some leaks about a potential Nintendo Direct coming this month. Did you read into this any bit, Mike, before the show?
No, because I don't have a Nintendo. So.
Got you. So Nintendo Direct are there like showcases. The rumor is that the Direct will be between August 11th and August 22. We're recording on August 13, and we haven't heard anything about a Nintendo Direct yet. But as we've already covered one on this show, they tend to announce them with only a couple days' notice. So this does not mean that it can't happen. The rumored games that are potentially to be announced on this direct include all the details for the Mario 35th anniversary, which people are speculating that there will be re-releases of Mario Galaxy, Mario Sunshine, and
Oh man.
Mario 64 on the Nintendo Switch. I have to say that will get me a little bit excited. I love those games. I would love to play them again on Switch. So
Same. I will buy a Switch if I can play Mario Sunshine again.
so yeah, we'll see what happens there. Some of the other things that we're still waiting to hear more on. Breath of the Wild 2 was announced at E3 last year. We haven't heard anything more about it yet. Bayonetta 3 was announced quite some time ago, something like 18 months ago. We haven't heard any more on that yet. Of course, Metroid Prime 4 was announced a couple of years ago, and we've literally heard nothing else on it since. Maybe there will be something on some of those games. Finally, I'll just throw this out. Mario Kart 9 question mark. Could that be something?
That'd be amazing.
So yeah, there are rumors out there. People look for potentially a Nintendo Direct coming up this month. Certainly, there are currently no first party exclusive titles coming to Nintendo Switch currently on the cards for the rest of the year. Hopefully, they're going to correct that with some awesome 3D Mario games for this 35th year anniversary. So I don't know, Mike. I'd like to play some Sunshine again.
Yeah, for sure.
All
I love
right.
that game.
Well, I think that'll about wrap it up for this week. We've packed you full of wonderful news and many opinions and thoughts. This week, there really aren't any very interesting games launching. We are in a little bit of a dead zone. Two that I wanted to highlight. You've got the Hellray DLC for Dying Light. Dying Light is an amazing game. It came out something like 4 or 5 years ago. The fact that they're still supporting it with DLC is pretty incredible. That launched today, and then tomorrow, if you're a UFC fan, EA Sports' UFC 4 launches. Otherwise, it's a bunch of indie stuff. Nothing really jumped out to me. But go check out the lists that are out there if you want to see what else is coming to consoles this week. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this here, the 4th episode of the Tricast Gaming Podcast. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did putting it together. Remember to like, subscribe, review on your podcasting app of choice, and our DMs are open on Twitter at Tricast Gaming P1 or on Facebook at Tricast Gaming Podcast. We'd love to get some user submissions on the show. Anything, let us have it. We'll even talk about would you rathers or anything of the nature. Just we'd love to get some feedback from the audience. We'll be back again next Friday with episode number 5 by 9 p.m. Central Time on Fridays, as every week. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Stay safe and game hard.